Tony, what a roller coaster ride you had in there. This seems like a real knockdown, drag-out match.
Yeah, it's a good tournament. It's a good game. The Swedes are hard to beat. This is going to be fun. Erik against Rory now. I'm dying to watch it.
They're even in chips, 300 apiece. What do you think the play is going to be like?
Well, knowing those two players as I do quite well, it's going to be quick and aggressive. It's going to be no holds barred poker. They're going to put them in, and it's going to go either way. I can't call it.
The stakes couldn't be higher. Rory Matthews, Erik Sägström, not only head up, but even in chips, 300 apiece. How do you handicap it, Ken?
Well, Erik has to be the favorite. He's got more experience and more results. But Rory's playing a brilliant game, and he's fearless, and he puts the chips in the middle. I really want to go in there and tell Erik to not be afraid, because he can't fold a hand, because then he's going to get run over. But I hold Erik as a slight favorite.
Well, you might be a little bit nervous here. I know you're going to want to watch this from the comfort of the green room and cheer on Erik. We're going to welcome Parg back to see this one out. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
Who has got the upper hand in your mind?
I don't think anybody does, Jesse. I mean, this is the dream finale. The 20-year-old Scotland and the veteran 22-year-old Swede.
Dead even in chips. And
maybe even dead even in just sheer quality.
And both of them absolutely dying to win it for their country. They may be also playing for the mantle of the best young player in Sweden or in Europe or the world.
Yeah, but like Rory Matthews can't lose. Erik can't lose. It's this is you know this is just brilliant.
And
they're probably the two best young players in Europe. They just happen to end up playing heads up here.
They've both played super so far. Matthews making a small raise with the ace, and Sägström peeling off the flop with not much. Two live cards. And the flop has gone the Scottish way.
Check. 25,000.
You know,
it's an awful pity that the blinds are like this, because if the blinds are 1,000, 2,000, we could probably see an absolute textbook heads up. As it is, maybe one hand is going to decide it. It's not really fair. Like we're watching two of the guys who hopefully in 5 years' time will be taking the game to the Americans.
Looks like Sägström's thinking of raising.
Oh my God.
Well, he's going to get smacked right here, isn't he, Parg?
Well, it's a very, very tough...
35,000 more.
God, these kids, I mean, jeez, I don't know why I bother.
Well, Rory Matthews has not been backed off top pair yet this evening, but he is thinking hard right now.
I'll tell you what, if Rory Matthews was 20 years older, he'd have passed this hand.
He's just called. Is he trying to induce a bluff now?
Well, I think so.
And the diamonds come. Sägström's actually drawing live right now.
Sägström is running a wonderful bluff here.
Check. Both checked.
Matthews has called him.
Erik Sägström needs a diamond. Scotland needs anything but, and it's come anything but. There's 180,000 in this pot, Parg.
Well, because it's queen, Rory won't be too worried about it. He will be worried about how he managed to get so much action on the flop with a bad kicker if there was ace.
Erik having a long think here. Does he think he can push Rory Matthews off the pot?
Check.
Well, he's worked out that he can't. And it was probably a pretty good play from Erik.
Rory Matthews not too confident either, but the ace is good. Sägström shows the total bluff, and it has just gone advantage Scotland.
And doesn't Rory Matthews look so excited? Look at him. He's 20 years old. He's about 60 years dead.
Matthews making a statement to Erik Sägström. I'm the young superstar, he says. And now he has taken a 2-1 chip lead. But Erik Sägström has been on the ropes before.
Well, as you know, Jesse, I'm a huge Eric fan, but I had the privilege of having an hour or two in the gym with Rory this morning, and he's a hell of a tough player.
Sagstrom now down to about 200,000. Is he down to one move here?
I don't really think so. I think Eric's bet an awful lot of heads up.
Raised, 35 mil.
You know, he probably figures he's got enough to do a bit of probing.
Well, the pocket pair actually in good shape right now against the ace rag. And Matthews might...
But an awful lot of players would just go all in with the ace-2 here.
Rory thinks he can play.
Especially in this kind of chip situation, Jesse.
Here's the flop. It's come a flush draw and a straight draw for Matthews.
Hard for Eric to think that his pair of sevens isn't pretty strong here. Especially after a check.
He's pushed all in. He's getting called, isn't he?
Well, of course he's getting called. But it's a very nice play from Eric.
Call.
I said me too, yeah.
Okay. Call. So no, she's got him covered.
Well, pair of sevens is the best hand, but Matthews has the best draw. It's nearly 50-50.
Well, it's as close to 50-50 as you're going to get, and like Eric has got the money in first. But you know, when you get involved in a 50-50, if you're the guy that gets the money in first, you can normally feel that maybe it was a little bit better than a 50-50 because there was a chance the other guy would throw his hand away.
That card a rag, and now Sagstrom's gone ahead. Rory Matthews and Scotland need an ace, a 4, or a spade to end this.
I think he's hit this once or twice before.
Oh, it's a deuce! Close! But Sweden has survived! And they'll be going wild in the green room right now for Sweden. And Scotland will be thinking about couldn't they catch a spade? When the money went in, I mean, it couldn't be closer. A pair against a straight and flush draw. But the 9 on the turn, the 2 on the river. Sevens held up for Sweden. And the chip position has switched. Now it's 2-1 the other way.
You really have to look to yourself and say to yourself, do you really love playing poker? Because if you do, then my top tip doesn't have to do with strategy. It has to do that you really have to like the game. You really have to play hours and hours and hours and hours. It's just like any other sport, which many people doesn't believe, but it's just like any other sport. You really, really have to practice, and you really have to like what you're doing. That's the most important thing of all.
Well, it's heads up and all to play for. The youngster versus the Wonder Kid. Only thing that you can be sure between Rory Matthews and Eric Sagstrom is that play will win the day.
No one to play with? There's always PartyPoker.com.